Hello everyone. This video is all about the Lisbon Treaty, how it removes the veto on international trade agreements and how it threatens public services from entering the international free trade system. One is that the 2006 Watts ruling has established that internal market rules apply to the national organisation of health services and to the responsibility of member states to deliver them. In other words, the European Union has competence in the application of free trade rules internally in the European Union to health services. And this then means that they have competence in the international arena. Secondly, the government cannot argue in court that opening up Irish health services to free trade under the WTO rules could be interpreted as seriously disturbing the national organisation of the services, nor that it would be prejudicing the responsibility of member states to deliver them. So, what are possible circumstances could a veto exist? Because I don't believe that there's a veto available in health, education and culture because of the fashion in which the government runs the health service and because of the Watts ruling. So let's look at cultural and audiovisual services. It won't apply there either because an international trade deal must threaten the cultural and linguistic diversity, quote unquote, of the Union. So, considering TV3 is already getting television licence payers' money, why not distribute that all over once our audiovisual services go in? And on cultural issues, festivals and parades, community arts and drama classes, community radio, Near FM, Castlebar Radio, RTE television, TG Cahir. How would a large fast food restaurant chain providing art and drama classes to community groups, how would they be able to do it more efficiently or how would they not be able to do it more efficiently than a community group? Because when you're in the WTO, you can't prejudice international service providers. So what's to stop an international media company bidding to run the TG Cahir operations, or to run the community arts programs around the country, or to run Castlebar or any other community radio station? None. Once it's in, it's in. It's rational, it's efficient, it's predictable. You don't have governments interfering in the provision of these services. Now, there are 4 other areas outside the common commercial policy which the statement from the European Commission office in Dublin on May 23rd and the statement of the Referendum Commission the week before the referendum, I don't disagree with any of it. What we've got to look at is the 3 that were mentioned and one highly unlikely area. Investment. A veto stays in capital and investment areas only if the measures in the trade deal constitute a backward step in union law as regards the liberalisation of the movement capital. I don't think that's in the trade deal. I don't think they're going to put measures which would reverse liberalisation of the free movement of capital into a free trade deal. One, gone. So, a second one that the Commission, the Referendum Commission and the Dublin Office of the European Commission has found is intellectual property. The Treaty of Nice from a few years ago is very clear on this. It's only non-commercial aspects of intellectual property where the veto stays. So, for example, the harp on the front of Irish government publications is intellectual property. It's owned by the Irish government. They don't make any money out of it. But why would you want to put that in a free trade deal so that you could veto it later? I don't think anybody on the opposite side of the fence to the European Union would take the reversal of movement of capital or non-commercial aspects of intellectual property as a serious aspect of an international free trade deal. The third one then is transport. This is an interesting one, that the veto would stay if the details of the trade deal would be liable to have a serious effect, quote, on the standard of living and on employment in certain areas. So why would they put an aspect of transport that would affect employment and living standards of people in the industry into a free trade deal? I don't think it's in the deal. The final one then is police and justice, and yes, if we were outsourcing police Gardaí issues, I don't think we are. I don't believe it's credible that there's police and justice issues. So before we go back to the common commercial policy, the Referendum Commission and the Dublin Office of the European Commission and the endless hours that myself and many people volunteers on the no side in all the various groups, and indeed in France and Holland when they were voting no to the treaty. These are the only 3, excluding police, aspects of investment, aspects of intellectual property, and aspects of transport which we don't believe are in the trade deal, where unanimity would stay. Again, the government are the only ones who can answer this clearly. But as I say, I don't think they're in the trade deal. So just to summarise then, in the space, in the form of 4 questions. 1, the government must answer, why is it good for Ireland, or why is it good for Europe and the other EU member states to dilute the absolute guaranteed right to veto key services entering the WTO system? I don't see what's good about that. Question 2, which one or more of health, education and social services are they entering into the WTO system or intending to enter into the WTO system that would allow them to veto the trade deal? Give detailed examples of, is it testing, smear testing for cancer? Is it kidney dialysis? Is it the building of hospitals? Again, the government goes and tries to say that we must keep a veto because the WTO will force these issues onto the international free trade. I don't think they have a credible case at the European Court of Justice. Again, the government are the only ones who can give us details. Are those services in the WTO deal? If so, what aspects of them are in the deal that would keep a veto? I don't think there is a veto, even if they wanted to put health in. Third then, cultural and audiovisual services. Which one or both of these, or parts of them, are going into the deal that would allow them to veto it? And is it credible to suggest, fourth and finally, that the reversal of the movement of capital, non-commercial aspects of intellectual property, and transport services that would adversely affect workers in the industry? And truthfully answer the question, are those 3 or more services or parts of them in the treaty? In summary then, the only way that, with respect to the 55% of French people and 65% of Dutch people who read the treaty, talked about it and voted no to a huge extent for the issues I've just raised, we have to vote no. For the farmers of Ireland and the farmers of the rest of the European Union to keep our absolute guaranteed right to veto a trade deal in those 5 key services and to keep the veto in the services aspect of a trade deal, we have to vote no. To protect public services, thirdly, from entering the World Trade Organization free trade system, and to give the right to future democratically elected Irish governments to change the economic structure of the health industry, keep it out of the WTO, keep the absolute veto and vote no. And that's it.